Well, hello guys, so here's a VCR that I recently got, and I did not buy this VCR. It's from my uncle and aunt, and I think it was given to them by a friend of them, and then they did not need it anymore, so they gave it to me. This is not a fancy VCR, it's just a basic RCA from the early 2000s and built by Samsung, so probably around 2001, 2002, and this Samsung mechanism. You all know what it looks like, you've all seen it a bunch of times, but I'm gonna show the inside of the VCR anyway. So RCA Hi-Fi Stereo VCR, and it has AV inputs on the front. And the only special thing that I've noticed about this VCR is all the text on the front, the letters, they are all small letters, as you can see everywhere. And none of my other VCRs have stuff like that, so this is pretty cool. Pretty interesting. And one thing that this VCR has, and that I'm very fond of VCRs that have these functions, tape speed and input select buttons on the front, so you don't need the remote to access these inputs and change the tape speed. So this VCR has SP and SLP, or EP, whatever this one calls it. EP and SLP is the same thing, and this VCR does not record LP speed. Most VCRs from that time period did not record LP. The only ones I know that do it are the Panasonic. From the early 2000s, they still recorded LP speed. So the front of the VCR kind of looks nice. And here you have like a mirror panel. So pretty cool. So on the back side you have what you would expect to see, video inputs and outputs, and the information with the model number. So it's written right here. So here's the inside of the VCR. It looks exactly like all the VCRs with this mechanism, the different brands. There's quite a few of them, and I've had quite a bunch of VCRs with this mechanism of other brands like Toshiba, another RCA, and more. So the VCR is fully functional. So when you find one of these, they're mostly gonna be functional, because they don't have tires and rubber parts. So like quite often, like you see quite often in my VCR videos, Super Mario recording. So Super Mario Bros. 3 SNES. So the Super Mario All-Star version. I was thinking of maybe making a gaming video on this game. I don't know if some of you will be interested. And now here in comparison, a Toshiba VCR with a Samsung mechanism, very similar, but like the older version. So the VHS mechanism that Samsung made just before this one. So this from around 98, 99 that they manufactured the first VCRs with this mechanism. So a Toshiba VCR, it's actually a SVHS VCR, so like one of the more fancy models that they made with Samsung mechanisms like this. So I had already done a comparison video with VCRs with these two mechanisms. It was not these VCRs, it was other ones with these mechanisms. But here it is again, just in comparison. The main difference is of course the loading motor here, which is placed vertically, facing down, in comparison to this one. And here the drum motor is on the bottom side, So this it's actually just I don't know what it exactly is, but it's not the motor. The motor is on the bottom side of the drum, and this is like my other Toshiba VCR here. So there are some VCR models with this mechanism with the drum on the bottom, and there are models with the drum on top. So this one is like more fancy, it has more functions. So you have this wheel here, and if you press pause, you can do frame by frame in the two ways. You can play the tape backwards. I think you can also play the tape 2 times the speed with the audio on this one. And you can rewind and fast forward with different speeds. And on this one, if you press pause and then fast forward, you can do slow motion frame by frame, but it only works forward, not backwards.